In the freezing highlands where life cannot easily set foot, survival often means endless running and vigilance. Yet, there is a creature that lives an almost motionless, relaxed life on the misty cliffs and wilderness where the air is thin and storms rage. They possess neither sharp claws nor powerful bodies, yet within the harshest laws of nature, they live out the most gentle and serene existence. Tonight, let us sit by the gently flickering hearth, and with this story that requires no effort to remember, step into his true life. This creature, known as the alpaca, uses his lifelong gentleness and slow pace to weave the most comforting dreams upon the desolate land. The wind blows low outside the window, carrying away the weariness and clamor of the day. Meanwhile, the night on the highlands is drawing its quiet curtain. On the starlit pasture, he stands there silently, as if waiting for every tired soul to enter that pure world free from distraction. In those clear, somewhat vacant eyes, there is no anxiety, no panic, only a deep tranquility that has looked through the wind and frost. This is not a journey full of legends and adventures, but a record of a life gently reconciling with loneliness and bitter cold. The night in the Andes always arrives loftier and colder than anywhere else. As the last ray of the setting sun is swallowed by the icebound mountains, a piercing chill begins to permeate the thin air. Here, the great wind is a frequent guest of the night, howling through the treeless wilderness, stripping away the last remaining warmth of the earth's surface. At this moment, the alpaca stands beside a massive rock, his long wool fluttering slightly in the wind, yet his eyes remain as calm as water. His entire life seems to be spent in the company of this extreme cold. But he never resists, nor does he ever try to escape. He simply wraps himself gently with his thick, almost luxurious fleece. Those dense, soft fibers are the longest-lasting armor nature has bestowed upon him, locking in every precious degree of body temperature. At this moment, the alpaca stands beside a massive rock, his long wool fluttering slightly in the wind, yet his eyes remain as calm as water. His entire life seems to be spent in the company of this extreme cold. But he never resists, nor does he ever try to escape. He simply wraps himself gently with his thick, almost luxurious fleece. Those dense, soft fibers are the longest-lasting armor nature has bestowed upon him, locking in every precious degree of body temperature. When the storm is at its fiercest, he chooses to huddle close with his companions, using their bodies to build a warm barrier against the wind. They lean against one another, without fighting, without complaining, quietly sharing the weight of the gale. In this long, silent companionship, the coldness of the wilderness seems to be gradually melted by this warmth, becoming no longer so formidable. If you listen closely in the dead of the silent night, you will hear a deeply regular and healing sound rising and falling across the empty pasture. It is the sound of the alpaca chewing its cud, faint, slow, and carrying a wondrous rhythm. During the day, he silently grazes on the dry grass stalks growing from the rocky crevices, and at night, this food is savored once again in detail through the long process of rumination. This physiological habit, which might seem tedious to humans, is the most stable ritual of the day for the alpaca. His jaw moves left and right at an almost hypnotic frequency, and each chew feels like the gentlest measurement of time. This sound is amplified in the quiet night, gradually turning into a beautiful white noise that soothes all the restlessness brought by the cold on the wild plains. Life here has been turned down to the slowest gear. There are no hurried breaths, no panicked flights. In this way, he tells the surrounding world that even the lowest blade of grass deserves to be treated gently for an entire night. Listening to this sound, you will feel the flow of time slow down, and the anxieties and restlessness of the day dissolve and settle bit by bit with this steady rhythm. This is a survival wisdom inherited from ancient times, and a natural magic that brings peace to the soul. As the first dawn breaks and the highland sunlight pierces through the thin clouds, spilling unreservedly onto the golden pasture, a new day begins. Yet, the alpaca's morning shows no signs of busyness. His favorite thing to do is to lie on his side in groups on the sun-drenched slopes. The sunlight hits their fluffy wool, reflecting a warm halo. From a distance, they look like soft clouds that have fallen into the mortal world. He rests his long neck close to the ground, his limbs stretched out comfortably, letting the sunshine warm his belly completely. At moments like this, his slightly dorky face always carries an indescribable docility and relaxation. This sense of ease is so pure that any living being witnessing this scene would involuntarily slow down their steps and let down all defenses in their hearts. In this world, we are always urged to move forward, demanded to be strong, yet we forget how to be like him, simply lying quietly under the sun, feeling the flow of warmth. He does not ponder whether tomorrow's storm will be fiercer, nor does he worry about when the winter snow will melt. For him, every single ray of sunlight falling upon his body at this very moment is the entire meaning of life. This complete trust in the present allows him to always possess a sanctuary of peace amidst the unpredictable highlands. In the ecological hierarchy of the highlands, the alpaca is not a powerhouse, but he possesses a unique, non-aggressive philosophy of survival. His footsteps are incredibly light because he has soft pads on his hooves. Walking across the pasture, he causes almost no harm to the fragile highland vegetation. When he grazes, he only gently bites off the tips of the grass, leaving the roots so they can continue to grow in the next spring. This gentleness and restraint toward his home is the kindness in his bones, and a silent covenant he has made with this land. When interacting with other animals, he always maintains a perfect distance, neither intrusive nor overly detached. When a small bird alights on his back to preen its feathers, he stands perfectly still, not moving an inch, for fear of startling the visitor from afar. Through his existence, he demonstrates a possibility to the world. Strength does not necessarily mean conquest and possession. Sometimes, gentleness is the most resilient power. Over the long course of time, countless fierce beasts have perished on this land, while the gentle alpaca has always thrived and flourished here. He uses his life to prove that in a world that often appears harsh, living gently is, in itself, a magnificent victory. His every gaze, his every movement, is like a wordless hymn written for nature. The night grows deeper, and the starry sky of the Andes is so dazzling it brings tears to one's eyes. The Milky Way spans across the pitch-black night sky like a flowing river of silver. The distant wind gradually dies down, and the entire wilderness enters the deepest slumber. By now, the alpaca, along with his family members, lies quietly in the sheltered valley. He rests his head gently against the warm flank of a companion, his eyes softly closed, his breathing becoming calm and long. The nighttime chewing sound gradually fades, merging into the boundless starlight and tranquility. What he truly leaves to this land is not some earth-shattering footprints, but a warmth that remains tender in the cold, and a composure that stays unaltered before the storm. This story does not require you to deliberately memorize its every detail, just let this peace from the highlands flow into your heart. The world has quieted down, and all the rushing and toil can be safely set down at this moment. May you, just like the alpaca lying under the starlight right now, have a night wrapped in gentleness, free from fear, free from burden. Close your eyes, and let your body and mind slowly sink into the sweetest, most peaceful dreamland amidst this relaxation and warmth. Good night.